Welcome to Financial Issues, where we help you steward faithfully by honoring God with your investments. Now listen in as we give you the practical tools and advice you need to become a biblically responsible investor.
This is Financial Issues, where we help you defund darkness and fund the light by investing with biblical integrity. Folks, on today's show, what is the 1792 exchange? Also, how do we discern different investment perspectives on companies that might have transgender inclusive policies on their mission statement, different things like that. Lots to talk about. Your calls and questions. And now your host of the show, Mark Manila.
Welcome, everyone. Glad to be here this morning. A new day. And with the new day, a new verse. This week's verse is 1 Corinthians 4:2. Moreover, it is required in stewards that they be found faithful. I love simple verses, don't you, Seth?
Mark, I really do. I mean, this is one of those verses that sweetly reminds us of what our job is. God's job. I've said this before on the Bible study and other places, but God has the hard job. He creates the universe. He sustains it. He saves us when we rebel against him. He keeps us safe. He keeps us saved. He glorifies us in the end. That's all his job. Our job is just to be faithful. It's very simple. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is very simple. Just
two different things, right?
Yeah, exactly,
yes.
Sam. Simple. So simple. Just be faithful in what God has called you to do. And he's called all of us to be good stewards, Mark.
And here I was afraid you were going to go into the Greek and be like, no, it doesn't actually mean what it says. But it is simple.
Seth, getting into the Greek, parsing it all. Yeah, no, but this fits perfect with last week's, which was 1 Thessalonians 5:21 and 22, I believe, which is test all things, embrace those that are good and abstain from those that are evil. If we're a good steward and we want to be found faithful, we have to be faithful in testing all things. All things includes your investments. So we test those investments to see if they're in alignment with God's will for our life, and in a way that honors him. So it's very exciting. It's a good verse. I hope you all will study it this week and write it on your hearts, because the more you have written on your heart, when somebody comes and says, I don't believe in that investing with biblical integrity stuff, there's nowhere in the Bible for it. You say, excuse me, can I share something with you? And then you have 30, 40 verses written on your heart to help them get in alignment with honoring God in all they do, and thereby helping them grow more intimate with their Lord and Savior. Now,
I've hidden your word in my heart so I won't sin against you. Yeah, right in there.
It's great stuff. Guys, Sam, this will be familiar to you. This is a verse that has had a long history with our ministry. This was kind of the life founding verse that our founder, Dan Celia, used for this ministry, Mark. So it's a special verse here. And Mark, it does hit everything that we talk about on the show. We talk about financial stewardship, and we talk about being faithful. And the way that we be faithful is we honor God with our money. We don't invest in companies that grieve his heart. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And one of the ways we're faithful to the ministry is that we don't compromise. Step by step, Dan, the Lord commissioned Dan to do this. Sometimes I miss Dan. He was so strong and rock solid on this. He was like one of 3 people in the world that could relate to how I felt as well, during that period of time. Him and Art Alley and a few others, the way we honor him, the way we stay faithful to God, is to continue the ministry of helping everybody understand investment stewardship. And that's what we're going to do. We're not going to compromise. We're not going to change the show to be like somebody else's show or to cover something else because people want to do that. We have a mission. That mission is to help you do the best you can with what God has entrusted to you. And in this day and age of being inundated with so much negative secularism, ugliness, I believe it is one of the most important ministries that could be out there. Of course, I'm a little biased because I love this ministry. It's my life.
Likewise, Mark. Well, let's get to a good question, Mark, that I think has a lot to do with this verse. This is from our chat on Friday. Judy is saying, what are the common investment perspectives on companies that have LGBTQ or transgender inclusive policies? She mentions one of them, Mark. I'll go ahead and say it. NatWest Group, which is on our list, they appear to fall into this category. Mark, what do we do with this?
So does this kind of go back to the old, what do you do about DEI?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Mark, what do you think?
The wording is unique to me in that what is the common investment perspectives on companies? I don't know what that means actually, but then she brings in the LGBTQ and transgender inclusive policy. So I'm going to just try and boil it down a little. The question is one that I think everyone who is a steward should be struggling with. Where do you draw the line from the total rejection of, even mentioning it, to toleration, to actively materialistically supporting it, to outright promoting and imposing it on others? Where does that line get drawn for a biblical investment steward? Well, actually, this is a responsibility that you have in Christ. This is something God has honored you with, entrusted to you, as well as the resources to invest. So it's important to start by remembering why we do what we do, why we do this, why we invest with biblical integrity. And it really comes down to honoring God. It comes down to, first and foremost, in all we do as unto the Lord. Meaning, stewardship to me is utilizing the resources. That's everything, God's resources. That's everything, including you and me, for God's purposes in a way that honors him. Well, we honor God first and foremost. And when we do that, it allows us to help others. So by not participating in or promoting or endorsing evil, we honor God. And we also care and protect his children. That means other people who are God's children besides ourselves. We're not just protecting ourselves from the thoughts and the thorn bushes that we get ourselves into when we focus too much on the darkness, but we help others not to fall into the thorn bushes as well or be dragged off their path by caring for them and helping them see the truth in all this and keeping them focusing on all the good, honorable, focused on the light. So I guess why this does not flag a company for being BRI like NatWest? Would you think that's part of the question, Seth?
I do, Mark. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That seems to be kind of the core of the question is, and I'm just looking on their, this website link here that, Judy had mentioned, and it looks like there's such things as like creating an LGBTQ plus inclusive workforce, different things like that. How would a company like this still remain clean, even with something like this on their website, Mark?
Yeah, and I get it, Judy. It seems like they're at the very least endorsing this, with their statements, are embracing, and maybe so, or maybe they're just trying to stay neutral. But if you're staying neutral, you probably wouldn't embrace an ideology or something like, a sexual preference or something. What you would do is keep it all encompassing. For example, I would never want somebody to die because they couldn't get the heart surgery that they need because their state doesn't allow it, but another state does. So an all-inclusive policy would say we pay for medical procedures recommended by your doctor. We pay for the travel for that. It wouldn't say we pay for LGBTQ people to travel around the world for medical procedures. So I'm with you on this.
Or you would
Judy.
say we're just a non-discriminatory hirer. We don't care if you're gay,
exactly.
black, whatever. We'll just hire you if you're good at your job. It doesn't really matter.
We don't care if you're a white male or whatever. Yeah. Exactly. It wouldn't even go that far. It wouldn't even mention those things. It'd just say
we don't discriminate. We just hire who's best.
No, we hire on merit. Yeah, right. So I find this with NatWest to be, if they haven't crossed the line, their toes definitely are hanging across it at this point. But I think that may come from what happened in prior administrations where corporations were forced, by not only were they enticed with grants and monies from the government to do these kind of things, but the government was pursuing and persecuting companies that wouldn't. So I'm not giving them an excuse. I'm just saying I can understand why. But the good news is with the new administration, we're seeing that turn around. And I love that. Here's the bottom line. Our goal is to help anybody have the most intimate relationship as possible with their Savior through godly stewardship. Evaluator Services is a general standard. It's a tool, and it's the best tool out there. You use this tool as an investment steward and make decisions based on it and the discernment from God. If you're going to err, I always feel error on the side of being beyond reproach. So if God tugs at your heart not to invest in something, even if evaluator says it's clean, I would go with God's discernment on it.
You never have to lose access to financial issues. Stations change programming, shows come and go, but your connection to financial issues doesn't have to. With the website and app, Financial Issues is available whenever and wherever you need it. You can watch the show live, listen on the go, or catch up on episodes you've missed with on-demand access to previous broadcasts. You'll also get the complete Financial Issues experience, including exclusive bonus content like Friday's Overtime segment. And it gets even better than that because the website offers even more ways to stay informed and engaged. Be part of the conversation by joining the live chat during the show, read articles and market insights, and explore educational videos to help you become a better steward of God's resources. So what are you waiting for? Download the Financial Issues app or visit financialissues.org today. Stay connected, stay informed, stay with Financial Issues anytime, anywhere.
My name is Reagan Gardner, and I am in the 4th grade. Last year, I wanted to be like everybody else. I thought I had to act different, look different, and be different to be cool. When I joined Crossroads, I learned that God loves me just the way that I am.
Help reach more kids like Reagan with the hope of the gospel. To learn more about Crossroads Kids Club and how you can get involved, visit reachOurschools.com.
Preborn is making motherhood possible for thousands of moms across America.
I found out that I was pregnant. My family, they were like, no, you're not having this baby. I met Miss Linda. She offered to get me an ultrasound. That's where I very first heard the heartbeat. It was really a great thing that I was led to the choice to keep him.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
Hey, folks, we're happy to have you today. The number is 610-363-1110, and we've got some lines open. We'd love to talk to you. You know, today's show is, of course, brought to you in part by our friends at the Timothy Plan. Mark, I'm so grateful for Timothy Plan. I'm so grateful for what they have done to pave the way for biblically responsible investing and how they've come alongside us and we've come alongside them, and it's just a joy. Check them out, folks, timothyplan.com. You can check them out today, timothyplan.com. Mark, we're getting a call in the queue right now from Bob. Bob's calling from Ohio.
Well, Bob, welcome to Financial Issues. What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm so thankful and blessed to be able to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, I feel the
Bob.
same.
Yes, indeed. Well, I have a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old that are working and interested in investing. And I had got some previous counsel from you to not have them buy fractional shares of stocks, but to invest in something in the ETF in the Timothy Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Okay.
I was searching through the buy list, and I didn't see anything that matched. Maybe I don't know that much about the Timothy Plan and what you would be recommending, but what do you recommend? Which ETF do you recommend that my sons would start to invest in?
Oh, okay. Well, it's not on you. This isn't on you because I don't believe Do we have the new ETFs on there yet?
We do, Mark. We do. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we do have the new ETFs on there. Okay, so there's quite a few, but the general one, are you looking for just one? Or are you looking for multiple?
Just one, yes.
Okay. Well, I really like the new free cash flow ETFs that are out there. So the
TPFG is one of them, and TPFC is the other one, Mark.
So at their age, the TPFG is really good. Now, this is a little more conservative than just in a full, which one is the U.S. large mid-cap core ETF? Right, right. The TPLC.
Or TPSC is the small cap one, Mark, as well.
Right. And I've been in the TPSC since it probably came out. I really appreciate that one. But small caps don't always perform, but when they do, they perform well. So if it was my son and he was in their teens, I would have them in a couple. I'd probably have TPSC, TPLC, and probably the new one, the TPS or FC. Or CF, what is it?
TPFC.
TPFC.
Yeah. Free cash flow.
That's free cash flow, Bob. Yeah. And then TPFG, Mark, is that free cash flow growth. Could that one be an option for him too?
Absolutely. Great. Yeah. All right. So, you could buy 2, 3, 4 of them. Maybe put a couple $100 into all of them or a couple thousand, depending on how much money they have to be investing. And then they'd have a well-diversified growth portfolio, Bob.
Thank you so much.
That is,
what a gift for them, Bob.
You're welcome. Hey, Bob, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. And I appreciate what you're doing for your children here.
Yeah, me too.
It's awesome. God bless you, sir.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too, Bob. That's great, Mark. Really cool. It gets me excited, hearing people like Bob doing that for their kids. And Mark, I couldn't help but wonder, if I would have loved to know what Bob's teenage sons, or maybe they were his grandsons, but what they're looking to do with this. If it's long term, I had a teenage Roth chant in my head. Teenage Roth. Teenage Roth. Because they had
that would have been good advice. And it is good advice to get them to open up a Roth right away, even if it's just to put a few $100s into it to get the timetable going on that.
Yeah.
And when I say timetable, of course, what I mean is with the Roth, you have to wait 5 years before you can bring your principal, the amount you invested into it, out without any taxation on it. So that's one of the wonderful things about a Roth. For example, you have a teenage son who's maybe, let's just say they're 14, and I don't know what age they allow you to work anymore. I was working at 10, so I don't know.
In the coal mines?
But that was... Yeah, in the coal mines, uphill both ways in the snow.
And then a factory shift in the evening.
Yeah, right. So, but what it means is they have you put money in, and then you have to wait 5 years before you can pull the principal out without any taxation or penalty on it. So if you get it started when they're young, then when they get into college, if they put thousands of dollars into it, even though they're younger than 59 and a half, they still can get to the principal if they need it for books and all those things that are important in college, which
it's awesome.
Would be different for different people.
There you go. It's great stuff, Mark. Really good. Hey, Mark, the markets were closed Friday, of course, guys, for the blessed day of Juneteenth. That last week had a nice winning week overall. The Dow Jones ended up finishing up about 0.75%. The NASDAQ was way up over 2%. The S&P 500 about 1%. It was its 11th winning week in the last 12. The Russell 2000 was up right around 1% as well, Mark. And pre-markets are slightly up this morning as we look to open the week, and oil is slightly down. So nice to see that.
We like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
We like that oil coming down. Yeah, I filled up Friday, and it was $3.58.
That's good,
per
Mark.
gallon. I know that was almost $1 less than it was the week before.
Yeah.
So here's one of those times that it's very rare. I was wrong, Seth. I said it was going to take a month or so to see any significant down on the price of gas. It's just come down very, very quickly.
Yeah. That's great. Great to get to see.
Glad to be wrong on that one, too.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm with you, Mark. Hey, Mark, let's get to a question here. By the way, folks, you can call in at 610-363-1110. James is 52. He's asking a real good question, Mark. He says, I'm a longtime partner. I listen via the podcast on my way home from work every day. Love that, James. By the way, folks, you can listen to our podcast as well wherever you get your podcast, too. He says, have you heard of a group called the 1792 Exchange, 1792exchange.com? They rate companies, offer to go in and help them shift back to just doing business, similar to what we do here, Mark, and what the Evaluator Services does also. It says, I was looking at their ratings on companies in my portfolio, and according to them, Western Digital, which is another one on our list, Mark, pays for employees' travel for abortion and gender transition services. Interesting, Mark.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And if that's true, if they only pay for that and not any surgery or any services, medical services that are not offered in the state, then we have an issue. But if it comes under just the basic law of that state that says that companies' health benefits have to include travel for procedures not done in the state, then it would be it would cover everything, and unfortunately, it would cover that too. However, I think it's important to realize that companies could also domicile in a different state. That costs a lot of money to do that, to move your company like that. But if a state's forcing you to do that, that could be an issue, and not an exemption to me, at least. As far as 1792 Exchange, I've checked them out several times. I do like their focus of helping companies to get away from the DEI, to refocus on doing things right as a company.
Their whole thing is not caving to political pressure, right?
Right. Yeah. They are not like Evaluator Services. They don't really, their goal is not to rate or to look at a company and see if they're BRI complicit or not. Their goal is to find out if they're involved in the DEI and these other things. And I don't know if they look at their data the same way. So Seth, I think you guys have a little more into
Mark,
that, don't you?
Yeah. So this, I would say 1792 Exchange is less an explicitly Christian organization like Evaluator Services. They're more generally conservative.
That's right.
They don't do biblically responsible screening. Like Sam said, they're more a think tank to kind of expose these companies that are leaning leftward. As for these specific claims, Mark, the 1792 Exchange is basing these claims off of what seems to be a recent HRC, Human Rights Campaign rating for Western Digital.
Okay.
I would say,
and actually,
Sam,
that's an expired HRC rating.
It's
because I'm actually on HRC right now. Western Digital did not even submit a rating in their latest round.
Exactly. And as we've said before, Mark, Sam has said this too, HRC is untrustworthy. You can't trust them anyway. They're incentivized to give companies a higher score because it helps them, whether it's actual or perceived. So there's no actual evidence that Western Digital was doing this stuff anyway, other than HRC is claiming that they are.
And that's not dissing 1792
Exactly.
Exchange, because their focus isn't to be a screening company.
Sure.
Their focus is to try and find companies that may be leaning liberal and help them get back on track of doing what a company is supposed to do.
If you're submitting to the HRC, that is in a way caving to political pressure.
It is.
That's one of the main reasons people do it, is to kind of virtue signal to the left. The good news is Western Digital did not do that in the latest year.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Praise God.
Right. So our screening, Mark, has Western Digital as clean, and I trust that far more than the HRC. And again, nothing against 1792 Exchange, but that was what they based this research off of, and it's just not as reliable as Evaluator Services.
Right. So effectively, what happened here is you have an organization that's focus is not screening, but helping companies in a different way. And they are using a third party to get data to help them locate the companies they should go in and help. And the third party they use is not a company that we have any faith in their data, because they manipulate it for their own benefit of promoting the LGBTQ agenda. So when you go down that ladder that far, it's like, don't worry about it. Go back to Evaluator, which is there to do this.
As far as the abortion goes, I'm unable to find anything public saying that Western Digital has some sort of abortion policy.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, good. Praise God.
Yep, absolutely. Mark, I think it's just a good reminder that the evaluator screening service is just the cream of the crop. I mean, they're so good.
It is.
They do such a great job. And again,
it's like we talked about earlier.
Yep.
But it is just a tool. It's the best tool out there.
Yeah.
It's the most data centered tool, and they keep the data, they keep it all so they can prove what they're saying. It's a great tool. But then the discernment from the Lord comes into that too. Remember, if you're going to err on the side of being beyond reproach. If you're uncomfortable with Western Digital, I wouldn't say own it. Don't own it. It's okay if you don't own a stock because there's something that bothers you about it. It's okay. And so don't worry about it. But right now, really, I'd really like to thank you for desiring to invest with biblical integrity, as well as everybody that watches or listens to our show. If you have to leave us, we hope that you have a great rest of the day. For the rest of you, more financial issues after this break.
In the last 10 to 15 years being in ministry, being married, something that has been constant in our lives is Samaritan Ministries. As we've moved, we've had babies, we've had different things come up, we have just been able to rely on Samaritan in ways that we never really even thought about before becoming members.
Our heart's desire is to plant roots and be in a place for a really long time. It's how we were raised. We see the benefits of that, but we also see the open-handedness of being used by the Lord wherever He calls, because we just assumed when we started pursuing church planting, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And with the Lord, sometimes you find out it looks a lot more like this. And yet, Samaritan was with us through the entire thing.
We didn't have to look into, we have to change insurances now because we've moved states or whatever the case may be. And it's just been a real blessing to us in different phases of life.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Colleen.
And we're the Gen X.
And we're Samaritan members.
Did you know that an unborn baby's heart beats at an average of 120 times every minute? That steady rhythm, that precious sound, that's the sound of life. Preborn partners with local pregnancy clinics across the nation to help mothers choose life, providing free ultrasounds, counseling, and the gospel of Jesus Christ. When an abortion-minded mother hears that sound, 80% of the time, they choose life. For $28, you can sponsor a life-saving ultrasound and share the hope of the gospel with a mother facing an unplanned pregnancy. Hi, I'm Mark Manella, host of Financial Issues, and today I want to encourage you to give to the amazing work of Preborn. To give, just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby.
Navigating through investment options can be challenging, especially when you're determined to uphold your God-given values. Every dollar you invest is a vote for the world that you want to live in. Let your values guide your investment decisions and help to shape the culture in which we live. Become a beacon of light and pave the way with biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, where faith and finance collide. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Markets just opened up and mostly positive here. Mark, looks like the NASDAQ is just slightly down, but a couple of those big tech winners are having a nice open to the morning. And we also saw, Mark, you said oil is down under $75 a barrel now, which is nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, love to see that.
Can you imagine the ripple effects that's going to have? Imagine it gets down to 60. Now I'm getting excited because I thought it was going to take, months to get down at all.
Jitters, Mark.
Yeah. Now, what if it just continues down and gets down to around 60 and we see gas dropping below $2 a gallon again by the end of the summer?
Be awesome.
Imagine the impact on reducing inflation across the board because
it'd be
of the
like
transportation
laughing gas in the economy, right?
Be amazing.
Yeah.
Now, guys, here's an interesting question. Let me. This is. I don't like the term "devil's advocate," but this is the contrarian's advocate, I guess. So. You remember back in 2022 when the Biden administration basically like artificially dropped gas prices so that they could win the midterms. What is Trump doing that as well? Does he have the midterms on his mind, or is there something else happening here? And I'm open to either one. I just had that
in my
question.
opinion, the reason he got that deal with Iran is he felt the clock of the midterms coming up. I really think that's why he did it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Mark,
there's no telling, but I absolutely believe that's important. First of all, it's important from a strategic point for the survival of our country.
Yeah.
Think about this. Yeah. If we lose, when I'm saying we, I'm not saying Republican or Democrat, I'm saying Christian conservatives lose the House and the Senate for the second half of this presidency, everything that's been fought for will go away so quickly. It'll be just a dead standstill, and all the progress we made would be of no avail to moving things forward. Think about what's going to happen if we are able to maintain a House and Senate at this time with conservative and Christian focus. We will, over the next 2 years, be able to turn this country around, be able to start reducing debt strategically now for the first time ever because everything else has fallen in place now. We'll be able to codify all these rules and regulations that Trump has signed in as with his pen, but it hasn't gone through Congress. And then it'll make it harder and better for the future to come in case presidency or administration gets in there who does love evil and wants to see our country die. They'll have to fight through all the walls that this president and administration has put up. So yeah, I think he's worried about it, but not just for his own ego, though that's probably part of it too.
Probably doesn't want to get impeached 30 times.
Yeah.
But for the strategy of maintaining this country.
Yeah. Well, Mark, one thing that encourages me that we're seeing that was different than what Biden did in 2022 is I don't think, guys, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve has been touched, which is great. Love that. I love that we're not touching it when there's not an emergency. But unfortunately,
I hate to burst your bubble, but I think it has been.
Has it been touched?
Okay.
I think
it's at its all-time low right now, actually.
Yeah. So
I think all through the war he did that to help bring it down, which is why that is there for wartime situations.
Yeah.
But it's coming down now, and the reserves
it's at a historically low level since the 80s, at least, right now.
Yeah. What's the number, Sam? Do you know? Is it somewhere in the 300
this
million?
This is the quick AI one, but it's
a liter and a half.
Yeah. It's like an inch.
A cup and a half.
340 million barrels.
See, that's right around where it was when Biden drained it. Biden took it to that level, so it hasn't changed much. And obviously, Biden took it to that level in a emergency, quote unquote. The emergency was to win the midterms. So, yeah, Trump probably has drained a little bit, but not as much as I thought.
I think it's about half of what its capacity is.
Yeah.
714 million.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's still not a safe place where it should be.
Certainly not. Yep.
So the good thing is we get to fill it back up with cheaper oil.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff, guys. 610-363-1110. Folks, give us a call. Mark, question here from Daniel. He's saying, I currently manage one portfolio. I use the FISM income model, and then I also use one using the FISM growth and income model. I've never paid much attention to the fund models before, but with the new Timothy Plan ETFs that we talked about earlier, Mark, I'm considering switching to them, but I don't understand why they're so different. Like there's a 2% allocation for international funds in the income model, but none in the fund model. And then the fund model seems to be a little bit overweight in commodities due to a larger allocation to defensive funds. Maybe I'll do a hybrid of the models, keeping my REITs and preferreds, but I'm not really sure what to do. Mark, any thoughts on what Daniel should do here?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now we don't have the new ETFs weaved into that either. So we are in the beginning process of relooking at all this. I agree with you. Why would there be a 2% in international in the all asset model, but not in the fund model, because there are there are mutual funds in the fund model that could cover that international. And I'm comfortable with 2% in the fund model, by the way. I think one of the reasons you don't see it in there is because in the fund model, they actually do the asset allocation with the name of the funds. Remember that the Israeli fund would come under international, although it'd be more specific. I think there's also the international fund. So if it shows it in and of itself, it doesn't lean toward the sector of international. It's a little bit confusing. That's why we're looking at it. I agree with you. We need to make it clearer and more concise to make it easier for everybody. And our goal is to do that this year. So we hope to have a new asset allocation out there this year. That is our goal. It's not a promise, it's a goal, because there's so many things on our plate that we're working on, but we're going to be working on that as well. So I love the way you're thinking there. I love the idea, Daniel, that you're going to make a hybrid to match what you believe is your life, your financial life, and your direction. I know that the tracker won't perform the same for you, but it'll still give you the same insights. You just will have to interpret it a little different. And if you want more guidance on how to do that, send us a message, and we'll get back with you and have a little discussion about that.
It's great, Mark.
Until we get it updated and make it easier for you.
Yeah, perfect. Here's a great question from our chat just right now. Mark J. from Texas is saying, Mark, when oil goes below $60 a barrel, doesn't the cost of taking it out of the ground affect any profit that a company can make? Absolutely. Good insight there. When it gets, I was $60 a barrel, and this is in the back of my mind, so it may have changed since, 20 or 30 years ago when I ingrained it in there. It had to get up to $60 a barrel at that time when this solidified in my brain for it to be profitable enough to drill for oil. So if it gets down below $60 a barrel, you'll see less drilling going down, and effectively in the future that would cause us to have less oil available because there aren't new wells going in the ground. So I think it's probably more expensive these days than it was when I had that rule of thumb.
Mark, although it says it kind of depends how big your operation is, where you're drilling. But it said kind of between 60 and 70 maybe.
Yeah, so it's gone up just a little bit. But you're absolutely right on that. There comes a point where it doesn't make any sense to spend the money to drill well because you're not going to cover your costs to do so by doing so. So oil has this little teeter-totter, or we haven't seen it in a long time because oil's been around above that the minimum price for a long time. But when it gets way expensive, it's like drill, baby, drill as many wells as you can, because you're going to bring in a lot of the gold from that. When it gets below that, then it's like, well, we'll just set the rigs on their side and just wait till the price of oil goes back up because of the supply and demand numbers change again. And that's what's happened all my life that I've seen, all my financial life, I've seen that happening. So good question.
So, guys, praise God that we do have a president in office who, imperfect as he is, understands a true emergency. So the numbers I'm seeing, jumping back to the SPR conversation, President Biden drew down 180 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve back in 2023, bringing it down to 346, which is right around where it is today. Now it's down to 340 or so. Trump has drained a couple million. There's the difference between those two. Is Trump's draining it for a real reason, and Biden, it was during the Ukraine war.
And part of the reason it's so low right now is because Biden had already drained it.
Right, exactly. Right. And it just hasn't been built back up yet.
Let's leave the business as a wreck as we turn it over to the next.
Yeah.
That's been done quite a few times by administrations, just evil people.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, Mark, a good reminder for us to always be praying, always be praying for the things that are happening in this world, for our leaders as well, but for peace in Iran, for the gospel to go forth, for all that stuff too.
Amen.
Great reminder.
The gospel to go forth is the most precious and most important thing to happen. If we really want to change our nation, we need to be sharing our faith. I really believe that's the bottom line on this. We need to be letting people know there is a God, and he loves you, and he loves this country, and he wants it all to honor him, and in doing so, we'll reap the peace and joy of the one true God. That's an incredible thing, people. It is very important. Everything needs to be based and focused on Christ. If it's not, it's of no value. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's just wonderful that we have so many partners and listeners and watchers that agree with us and want to share the truth by sharing investing with biblical integrity.
My name is Reagan Gardner, and I am in the 4th grade. Last year, I wanted to be like everybody else. I thought I had to act different, look different, and be different to be cool. When I joined Crossroads, I learned that God loves me just the way that I am.
Help reach more kids like Reagan with the hope of the gospel. To learn more about Crossroads Kids Club and how you can get involved, visit reachOurschools.com.
I found out I was pregnant when I was 21 years old. For me, I was scared, I was shaking. They do an ultrasound, and that's when everything changed. When I saw my baby, and when I heard her heartbeat, that was it. We've seen the hand of God ever since we stepped into the pregnancy center.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
The opinions and recommendations expressed on this program do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station or any of the program sponsors. Additionally, all products or services offered by the program sponsors may not be known by the program.
Folks, it's an honor to be faithful stewards with all of you. Remember our verse of the week, 1 Corinthians 4:2. Moreover, it's required in stewards that one be found faithful. And of course, talking about that and all the different things we're talking about today, guys. It's a great show to be able to be here with you to do that. Mark, we got a chat here from Jane Ann. She's asking a good follow-up question. So with gas stocks, does that mean we should wait until oil is approximately $60 a barrel to buy into gas stocks? Mark, what do you think?
That's a question that almost feels like it's reversed. Remember, when the price of oil comes down, you're compressing the possible earnings in that industry. So if you had oil at $70 a barrel, you might have bigger margins, or maybe not, depending on the company. So you have to be looking at the fundamentals of the company more than you have to be looking at the price of it. The price is important, but if oil gets down too low, it actually can hurt a company and its ability to make a profit. You've heard me talk about how I have a difference of opinion on the idea of deflation. I believe that deflation, if properly seen in the proper way, could be a very beneficial thing. There's very few people who would say that lowering prices on everyday goods and services would be a bad thing, unless you're a company providing those goods and services and you don't have the margin to be able to accept the lower revenues coming in from that. So, and generally what does that is debt, but that's a whole nother story. So what I'm saying here is that it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be better buying then. We've had some incredible buying in energy because of the AI energy need and other areas, but it may show you the stronger players in that industry as margins compress because of the lower cost of products. This also could expand margins for those who are able to take that in and utilize it properly. So it really depends on the company. I've seen companies when prices come down on commodities or energy or seeing things like that be able to expand their margins. And I've seen others that just could not deal with it properly and it caused them to be in trouble. Which way do I lean more? I think I probably lean more with you on the idea that we should see some good opportunities down the road when their costs go down and they can expand their margins without really increase and systematically reduce their cost their pricing as well. That's for the strong companies though. That's what I'm saying. It will show those strong companies. Did that make sense, Seth?
Oh, that's great, Mark. Yep, absolutely. Okay. Jane Ann, good eye there, trying to look for those good specials. And she also said, Mark, thanks for discussing this topic and everything you do to serve.
No, it was a great question. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked up that one because I saw that. I'm like, that's a banger right there.
For sure. It's a good one. Hey, Mark, here's one from Chad. He's 57. He's saying, my question is regarding HWM. That's Howmet. He says, I own Howmet because I originally purchased a separate company. Might have been the parent company. He says, I have 400 shares at a cost basis of right around $21 a share. The value has just skyrocketed for him. And he's wondering, though Howmet is on the buy list, if it would be wise to sell some or all of my holdings to protect my gains, especially since it is now more than 10% of my total. What do you think, Mark?
Great question again. And, a buy opinion, let's talk about that just for a second. The financial issues buy opinion is just saying this company has the financial issue still and the potential to take on new money. It's not a command to hold that forever or hold all the shares forever. The buy list speaks to the quality and attractiveness, bottom line, of that investment. It doesn't know your cost basis. It doesn't know your tax situation. It doesn't know your income needs or anything else. Your position, Chad, has become a portfolio management position in this sense. It is on the buy list, so we know that we still believe that it has potential and it has the financial issue still. But when it becomes more than 10% of your portfolio, that means that your concentration is getting too much in one stock. If a stock drops 20, 30, 40%, that one holding can do serious damage to the whole portfolio. So it's especially important because for you, because most of the position is a gain. The gain is real, but is not protected until some of it is harvested. And that's where stewardship come in. I wouldn't make taxes a driver on this. Think about it this way. You could, let's say your top marginal tax bracket is 15% right now. Okay, so you could just hang on to it because you don't want to pay the taxes, but then the markets have a strong pullback or correction of 20 to 30%. So you lost 30% of those gains instead of just paying Uncle Sam the 15%, which he demands of it. So you want to be careful not to let it drive it. It should be a consideration, but not the main driver. I would consider trimming Howmet back towards a reasonable allocation for your portfolio. If the position's over 10%, you could sell enough to bring it closer to 5% or whatever fits your plan and you sleep better at night. You don't have to sell it all. if you still believe in the company, and it's on the buy list. So our opinion is it's still a good company. You can just protect those profits by trimming it and pruning it back and redeploying that into other stocks, thereby diversifying so that one stock does not guide the whole ship.
That's great, Mark. Yep. Makes a lot of sense there. It's good. Justin from Texas is asking this question, Mark. How can I trade after hours? Do you just put in the order? And Mark, I guess that leads to a follow-up too of, is there any wisdom in trading and doing after hours trading, or should that be something that we should be avoiding for any kind of warning signs? What's the deal there?
Yeah, good question. And it's something that doesn't get addressed much. In general, trading after hours is a little bit different than trading during normal hours. During normal hours, you put in a market order or maybe you put in a limit order. But after hours, you want to be very careful. I believe, the only time I've done after hour trading, I put in limit orders because you don't, maybe more so today you do, but you don't have the same information you have during market hours, the constant stuff. Some people say they do, but the problem is the trading is so slim during after hours. It just doesn't seem to register as much. There's blips and there's jumps and there's all sorts of things. So you want to be real careful putting in an order, and then you put in that order and the market jumps up, has one of those blips because somebody comes in and does a trade that forces that stock up substantially more than it is. You're going to end up buying it at that unless you had it at a limit order, and that way it would just wait for somebody to pick it up that way. There is a reason to be trading after hours sometimes. Maybe there's some news out, like something tragic happened and all the world's oil just disappeared from the earth. You'd want to real quickly get out of oil stocks or something before the markets open. But, it's very hard to gauge that. It becomes very scary. I don't have any problem with people doing that. And actually, it's becoming more common. In fact, I do believe somewhere in the future, unfortunately, we're going to see, maybe not the near future, but somewhere in the fairly near or midterm future, we're going to see 24-hour trading on the exchanges.
Good stuff, Mark.
Where they never shut down.
Yeah.
Because they'll all be computerized.
Right.
There won't be any middlemen. There won't be any market makers.
You can do your trades at Denny's at 3 a.m. It's going to be great.
Right.
Certain things can be fun and scary at the same time, right? That would be one of them.
Absolutely.
Perhaps.
You can hold both in there. Yeah.
That's good. Final question for the day, Mark. Nathan is asking, does selling a stock before holding it for a year have an automatic fixed tax rate?
Say that again.
Does selling a stock before holding it for a year have an automatic fixed tax rate? So he's asking about short-term capital gains tax.
Yeah. Okay. So what he's saying is if you sell it before holding it 12 months.
Yeah.
No, it's not a fixed rate. If you sell a stock and a security, well, let's just go. If you sell, let's say, like on the Howmet question there, if you sell Howmet and you've only owned it 11 months, that'll be seen. The gains on that will be seen as, for tax purposes, as income to your taxes, as just regular income. So it'll be taxed at whatever rate you are being taxed at or it takes you into. So it'll just be added to your income and taxed in your income tax. If you hold it for 13 months or more, then what happens is it's long-term capital gains and it's taxed at a special rate. And that special rate is substantial for those who are married, filing jointly. I think it's $98,000. You pay zero up to $98,000 of capital gains, long-term capital gains on that. So from whatever your normal, let's say 15% down to 0%. And above that, it's usually like a third of what your normal income tax rate is. So yeah, it's important to take taxes into consideration, but don't let them guide your portfolio. Remember, go into investing realizing you're investing for yourself and Uncle Sam simultaneously, because he's already got his claws in it the moment that you put it in, not the moment you take it out. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for loving God, and thank you for investing with biblical integrity. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless everyone.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation going under.
Thank you for joining us. This has been an FISM production.